Greetings everyone, Sully here with the Drum Corner, presented to you by Rock and Roll Industries Magazine. Welcome to Lesson 4. I call this lesson To Click or Not to Click. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is about the battle that's been going on for quite some time, whether drummers should use a click track or not use a click track, why use it, so on and so forth. Click track, which is also known as a metronome, is a device that keeps metrical clicks, keeps time. As a drummer, that's kind of important for us, is to make sure that we stay in time and just keep the band, keep everybody in line per se. You're going to have purists balk at the idea of using a metronome versus, other people that go, hey, there's no way around it. And I will tell you, with the way modern pop or any kind of music, just modern music is recorded this day and age, it's really tough to not have to use one. So the more versed you are in what a click track is, how to use it, how to operate it, and furthermore how to play along with it, the better off you are. And hence I said with it. The main thing is that we don't play to a click track, we play with a click track. So we're about to jump behind the kit, go through some examples, and just get this introduction going so you guys can practice your journey with the click track. All right, here we go. To click or not to click? As I was speaking in the, saying in the introduction about this long-going battle on whether or not a drummer should use a click track or not use a click track. And really, it's not just drummers. I mean, it's all musicians on stage. But it seems to fall more on the drummer's shoulders as the timekeeper of the unit per se. The purists out there will balk at it, whereas really the way music is recorded these days and composed and put together and so on and so forth, it's really a necessity. Or if you're in a touring situation that plays with backing tracks and so on and so forth, having the ability to play with the click track is just part of the job. It's a job requirement. Regardless if you use it or not, you should always know how to do it. And I know when my first introduction to a click was going into the recording of my first major record or my first major recording, a very well-known producer made it very clear to me that we're going to be using a click track. You better know what you're doing with it and how to play with it. Otherwise, you may be replaced. And I'm thinking, how am I going to get replaced on my own record? This is music I wrote or co-wrote and so on and so forth. Well, time is money in the studio, and you really got to be able to take care of just some basic requirements before going in to record. Or if you're in the same way with live situations, I've done pretty much every live show in the last 15 years has been with a click track. Can I play without one? Obviously, but I prefer to have it there because I look at it as a referee of a sports game. I mean, it's there, all the chaos going on the field or the court, but you got the referee just making sure everything stays in line. So how to begin playing with a click track can be difficult to explain. It's more of just going through the motion and dealing with the days, weeks, and possible months of agony and torture and pain and everything else to get comfortable with it. Again, you can look on the internet and see what the classic definition of a metronome is, but it's a device that produces metric clicks in perfect time. Any standard metronome is going to have the option for you to listen to 16th notes, eighth notes, quarter notes, whole notes, so on and so forth. Divide those up, individual volumes for each. So, like for example, what you'll hear today is that I have eighth notes and quarter notes going. The eighth notes are louder. The quarter notes are louder than the eighth notes. Ding, 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 ding. It just helps me tie in more with the click track. Some guys will just have just eighth notes going or 16th. Whatever works for you works for you. There's no right or wrong answer with it. It's just about getting in your rehearsal room, turning it on and playing. I highly recommend picking grooves or patterns that you're already accustomed to playing that are second nature to you. That way you're not necessarily so much thinking about the actual groove or what you're playing, but what you're doing is you're honing in on that click track. And like I said in the intro, it's very important to understand that we're not playing, to the click track. We're not slave to it, but we're playing with it. It's a guide. It helps us. The more advanced you get, you're going to find that you'll be playing a little bit behind the click, maybe a little bit in front, or maybe dead on center. When you get going as well, you might notice that some of your playing seems to sound robotic. Nothing wrong with this. It's completely natural. And in fact, to step back just a little bit, I'd highly recommend a phone, just some sort of device to record your playing, record your process. You know, something that hears the click and hears your drumming at the same time. But you may notice that it may seem a little stale, so on and so forth. Well, that's completely natural, because what you're doing is you're trying to get the external clock, which is the click track, to mesh with the internal clock, which is your soul. You know, every drummer, every musician has an individual soul, individual footprint that they leave on the music that they play. And it's important for us to try to mesh that together. And when everyone has that, that band, that song, that moment cannot be penetrated by anything. It's magical. And a click track doesn't necessarily make that happen on its own. It's an effort with everyone. But what I will say is, after practicing on this and get more comfortable with it, you introduce it to the band, or you bring it to a session, to a recording session, so on. So, once you get to the point you're comfortable with it, you'll just notice, again, with the rudiments, anything that we cover in these lessons, you'll just get more and more confidence behind the kit. You'll feel more comfortable in what you're doing, and thus that will produce greater results. So today what we're going to do is pick a couple different patterns. I'm literally picking these just off the top of my head as we go, because I feel like that's best. These are patterns that I still to this day practice in this room with a click track. Sometimes it's for a couple minutes at a time. Sometimes I'll spend a full hour just working on these grooves with a click, just to build my endurance with it, And I've been playing with a click nonstop basically since going on, close to 17, 18 years now. And I still work at it. It just depends on what job is in front of me, what kind of music it is. It may take me a little time to hone in on it, but ultimately it makes me a better drummer, a better musician. I work better with the musicians surrounding me. And when you do get to the studio for that very first recording session, that you've had in your life that's professional, so on, they throw out that click track, you're going to be at ease with it. You're going to be ready to go. Unlike me, in my first demo session, the engineer threw the click track through my headphones. I was lost. I could get through maybe the intro, maybe the verse, but by the time I hit the chorus, I was getting off. I was hitting stuff, but hearing beeps here, and it just wasn't coming together. So it takes a concerted effort, concentrated effort, and just a routine to work at it. And it's not a bad thing. It's all positive. Just make sure you work at it. So this first example, and all examples that will follow after, you'll hear the click, and then I'm going to start with a hi-hat, and then add the kick drum, and then the snare, just to kind of separate out a bit, and then we'll come out that way as well. We're going to start at 120 beats a minute, and just kind of show you a basic idea, if you're new to it, kind of how to approach it and go from there. So again, this is 120 beats a minute. All right, here we go. Demonstration, working with the metronome, 120 beats a minute. And again, I'm going to introduce the three instruments. Basically, I'm playing the hi-hat, the kick, and the snare in that order. And to kind of show you how all these clicks and the human element, how just basically it all meshes well together. Here we go. All right, example 2. We're jumping it up a little bit to 130 beats a minute. Again, introducing the hi-hat, then the kick, then the snare. Okay, here we go. Example number 3, jumping it up to 140 beats a minute. Here we go. Hey guys, all right, so we did a couple examples, did a little bit of talking about introducing the metronome into our playing. I hope you walk away with this lesson with possibly an eagerness to sit down and work with a metronome and just see how it goes for you. I guarantee you it's going to help in the long run. And if you have any questions about it, please feel free to reach out to us. Our contact information is there on the YouTube page. I'd love to hear from you guys, see how your progress is. And the metronome topic is such a big topic. We're definitely into next year going to be expanding and doing some more lessons regarding just the use of the metronome. But just remember, it is an important piece, or an important technique, ability, however you want to look at it, that every drummer, really any musician, should be able to work with, regardless if the job requires it or not. So, anyways, good luck in the journey, and God bless. Hey gang, welcome to the Practice Pad in 5, Lesson 4 of the Drum Corner. Today we're going over a long time favorite rudiment of mine. It's called the double stroke roll. This is just a good warm-up rudiment, something that will create the forearms to start burning a little bit, and it works on a bounce system, so it helps you work on your bounce. Essentially what it is you have your single stroke roll, which is right, left, right, left, right, left. The double stroke roll is exactly what it says it does. It doubles up. So each hit, you're going to have the initial hit, and then you're going to have a bounce. So I'm actually only doing one official hit with my hand coming down, but I'm allowing that bounce to happen, and I'm catching the bounce. A lot of it has to do with your fingers here controlling that bounce. And you just go back and forth from right hand to left hand, so on and so forth. Kind of just creating a constant roll is what your goal is. The dynamics involved, so on and so forth, trying to just keep everything nice and level and just keeping it going. And initially you may want to start out doing 30-second or minute-long double stroke roll and just add from there. But the key would be able to come in at different tempos, slow it down, speed it up, and just be able to keep that train rolling per se. So we got a medium tempo here. A lot of times what I'll do is just leave it at that. I may do this for 5 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes without stopping. And speed it up a little bit, and then slow it down. And then maybe speed it up a little bit more. Again, double stroke roll, very important rudiment to have. It's a very cool thing to add to the kit. In a future lesson, I'll show you how we're going to put that on the kit, whether it be the hi-hat, ride cymbal, snare drum, so on and so forth, but produces some really cool sounds. So thanks for checking in. Remember to stay with the rudiments every day. Doesn't matter if it's 5-10 minutes a day, stay on them. It will increase your ability behind the kit, your confidence behind the kit, and you just can't do it without them. All right, guys.